Hey, happy day 627 of What's She Up To Now? She, S-H-E, being Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, happens to be my initials, which I actually really love my initials. I got married, and when I decided whether I was going to hyphenate my name or not, I decided to hyphenate my name, partially because I like the initials S-H-E better than my old initials S-A-H. I just liked it better. So when I got divorced, guess what? I kept my same name so that I could have the same initials. I know it's silly, but I like it better. It's a lot easier to write S-H-E than it is Sa, or she. I like she better. So, got nothing to do with anything today. Busy, so I probably shouldn't be talking long. I used to love being busy. I spent my whole life, up to 50, being super duper busy. Running around like a chicken with my head cut off, doing a gazillion things, probably doing more in a day than most people did in a week. It was kind of stupid, and it landed me actually dead in the emergency room and dead and frozen for a little over a week, and with an Ironman, an ICD. I don't know if you can see it, my Ironman. So busy to me is now very overrated. The whole hustle and grind thing that a lot of people purport as the only way to be successful, complete and utter nonsense, just so you know. Now, some people need to bust their butt and hustle to get anything done, and hurry and run through their life. But the truth is, we really don't have to. If what we're doing is in alignment and it's what we should be doing and for us, we don't really have to put that much hustle and effort and BS behind it. We just have to be ourselves and move toward what feels right to us and move toward what it is that we want to create in the world. And that's a really simplistic way of looking at it, but if you just take a deep breath, go for a walk outside in nature and chill, you'll know what to do. We always know what to do. I think we spend more time as humans telling ourselves, I don't know what to do, when we totally always know what to do. We just don't necessarily want to face up to that we know what to do, because then we can play the victim. We can say, oh, I don't know what to do, and you sound like everybody else, so nobody gives you a hard time for it, except once in a while. You'll run across somebody that actually calls you out on it and says, hey, I know that you know what to do, or you're just being ridiculous. And then you get all embarrassed because you're like, yeah, I really know what I want to do. I just don't want to make the change and the effort to change and move toward and do it. So, busy. I'm feeling busy and a little pressure to get things done, but I'm just taking a deep breath and saying, you know what? It's all going to get done. Got a bunch of travel coming up. I've done the key components of what I need to do to be ready for that. Haven't packed or anything, and so those things kind of make me think, oh, I got to get those things done. I better be busy on that. Hanging out with my 4-year-old granddaughter, but my first trip starts Friday. So I'm like, I got to get at least ready for that first trip. Then I come back for a day, and I have to get everything ready for 20 days being gone. And that's the one that's going to freak me out. A weekend, I got that. That's not a problem. I can grab a bag and get ready for that in 20 minutes to an hour max. I can have everything ready to go for that. But 20-day one's going to take a little bit more planning, because I only get one suitcase. I've told myself I'm only going to take one suitcase and one carry-on, primarily because the first part of the trip is going down to Texas, and we're driving my mom's new vehicle down there. And my mom is like, I look around, and as I've been moving and transitioning, it was hard to get rid of 90% of my material things, but it was easy because I look at both my mom and dad are total savers and pack rats, and I definitely got that gene, or I got that belief system from them, and I love to save things. I love to keep things. I am not quite a reformed, but reforming office supply hoarder. I don't know why, but I love office supplies. I love them. I love journals. I love notebooks. I love office supplies. So, and teddy bears, but I've stopped collecting teddy bears, and I got rid of most of them. I got rid of a lot of office supplies, but kept a lot too. So I know I need to still work on that one. I have a lot of everything, and I gave away and got rid of and let go of a lot of things that I used to save and collect, and some people would say hoard, but I didn't have the little trails through my house, although I kind of do right now as I'm moving and in transition. So that's got to go. I look around sometimes and I think, I still have so much chaos in my life. Now, I got rid of a lot, but I need to get rid of more so my mind can be clear and focused, and I can move toward what I want all the time and not have all the clutter and things, in the background eating away at my brain and my mind. So I write everything down, is because then I feel like I get to dump it out of my brain sometimes. Did have a discussion with one of my coaching students because I was encouraging him to write things down. He's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to write it down. And I'm like thinking, okay, this is why we're still talking after almost 2 years and you're not getting the stuff done and implementing because you don't want to write stuff down. If I were to choose again, and I'm kind of hoping he doesn't listen to this, but he would not be on my ideal client list. Love him as a friend, but he would not be a person that I would choose to work with nowadays, because I've learned more about picking the people that are a good fit for you. And there's some things that, based on my decades of experience, I know work or don't work. And I remember my dad on his dying bed, and when he could still talk to the grandkids and stuff, the last thing he told each one of them was, write down your goals. He didn't say, think about your goals and they might happen. He said specifically and clearly, repeatedly, write it down. And why? Because he knows it works. He always wrote down his goals, and it worked for him. He knows it's worked for every other successful person on the planet, has in some way, shape, or form actually physically written down and visualized what they want. And even if they didn't physically write it down because they couldn't write, it was ingrained in their being, and they would repeat it over and over and over again and make it a reality, and they would envision it happening for them. So you can tell people that, but they just, if they have limiting beliefs, and, oh, I've done that. I wrote it down once and it didn't work for me. I wrote down that I want to be a billionaire, and here I am 10 years later and I'm not a billionaire yet. I mean, that's the story you'll get from people. And then those are the people I say, yep, I get it. I hear what you're saying. You tried it once. Well, that's not the kind of person I'm going to have as someone that I'm going to help and coach, because I know that if you're willing to quit on yourself, if you're willing to quit on your dreams and goals, and you're not even willing to write them down because you don't believe them enough to even put them on paper, then I can't help you achieve them. That's such an entry-level belief, and I'm guilty of that too. There have been times in my life where I wouldn't write things down, because then I knew I had to hold myself accountable to it. If I write it down, it means I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'll do it. But if I say I'm going to do it and I write it down, it's as good as done. And everybody isn't like that. I get it. But usually, if you're not reluctant to even take a step toward what you want, and that writing something down is the most minuscule step toward what you want. But it's because that person wants someone else to do it for them, someone else to blame, someone else to be responsible for their not taking action or taking action. Or, oh, you did this with me, and I used to have employees like that. You told me how to do this. I did it exactly how you told me. It didn't work for me. You know what? We all have to take 100% personal responsibility and think for ourselves and take the actions that work for us, not for anyone else. And that's one of the biggest, hardest lessons that we all have to learn, is that we are 100% responsible for ourselves no matter what. We can try to be responsible for our kids. We can try to be responsible for our significant others. We can try to encourage them and coach them and help them to do things. But ultimately, it is up to them whether they take action or not. It is up to them to decide how they're going to think and feel about everything. It's up to them to decide if they're going to be a victim or if they're going to be a victor. I'm thinking a lot about the whole victim-victor thing lately as I've been encountering different people in my life, and I ask myself, why am I being shown this? And then I would have to say, well, because in some areas I don't always act like I know I should. I don't always act like I want to. I get super frustrated over computer and technology stuff because I figure I should be smart enough to figure it out. I shouldn't have to struggle with it. But guess what? Things are changing all the time, and so it's not even that I'm not smart enough to figure it out. It's just that I don't want them to change. I want them to be the same. Well, it's kind of human nature. We want things to be consistent and expected. We want to get what we expect. And so I should just expect things to change all the time, and that I love the challenge of figuring it out and facing those things. And I actually really do. Every time I figure some little thing out or some way to be faster or more efficient or more effective with something, I love it. I get a little, hit, a little mental zing and positive hit from that. So instead of looking at that I'm frustrated, look at it that, oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm going to get to figure this out, and I'm going to feel so excited when I actually figure it out. That's a really good idea. I think I'm going to start doing that. So, busy but not busy. I need to get things done, but I'm not going to let myself stress out and be frustrated and busy over it. Not primarily, but because it's good for me. But I'm doing a blood pressure challenge, a 90-day challenge, and one of my things is to keep my blood pressure down and get my blood pressure down 20 points. And stress, of course, is a huge impactor on our blood pressure. And so I need to just chill and go with the flow of things and not get all worked up about stuff. And so that's it. So blood pressure challenge today was brainstorming the 5 areas you're going to break down to move you toward your goal over the next, I don't even know what we're at. We're day 20. Over the next 70 days. what are you going to do to, what areas and categories are you going to test yourself on and create areas of improvement on for your life to get you the goal that you want. So me, it's blood pressure. So I think mine were mindset, movement, mindset, movement. Let me look. I don't know. I put them away already. Mindset, movement. It's not that hard. Oh, nutrition, supplements, and then the basics. Now, under mindset, of course, I'll talk about stress and meditation and all those things, because to me, that's mindset kind of covers mental, emotional, and spiritual, all three. And then later on, we'll talk about relationships and continuous improvement and systems and processes, and you know, whether you document stuff or not depends on what you're doing. If you want, and I do or do not document things. I'm really actually kind of anal about documenting things. I keep track of already. So for nutrition, it's already a habit for me, writing down everything I consume, and I've done that since my sudden cardiac arrest, because I knew that one of the areas I was really negligent in was eating and taking care of myself, and exercising and movement. So these are just kind of a reminder of the things that I need to work on anyway. So did that. 4-year-old granddaughter came at 5 this morning. Normally I'm making my videos at 5, so I don't know what time it is now, but I'm just knocking them out, which again, I need to, as I'm traveling, get used to being discombobulated and mixing up my routine. So, you know, I was like, oh shoot, she's here already. I can hear the little footsteps. I'm like, all right, here we go. And sometimes I can get her back to sleep, but not lately. She was like, let's get dressed, let's eat breakfast, let's play. So that's what we did all morning, and that's fine. I need to obviously get used to being cool with that, being cool with getting my priorities, getting the things I need to get done every day done when I can do them, and not freaking out because I don't get them done first thing in the morning. I mean, she's like, well, could you get up earlier and do them before I come? And I said, that's what I was doing, but now you're coming earlier, and so no, I'm not getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do my videos to make sure I get them done before you come. Not going to happen. Not going to get up, get cleaned up, put on a clean robe, and do that. It's just a little bit silly when I don't need to. I can do them after she goes to school. I got 3 hours, plenty of time to create my content, and I decided yesterday it's past time for me to get somebody that actually does the piece of disseminating my content for me. They're not going to be me. They're not going to be my social media person, but they are going to be the person that I create the content, you distribute the content for me, because it's getting too challenging. The magnifying glass, and that's, I think, part of the frustration, is that it's sending me the message that it's time to get that shared responsibility and not be doing it myself. I mean, I know I'm stubborn, but I don't need to be that stubborn. So is there something that you need to be delegating or giving up or letting go of, so that you're not busy, so that you're not doing things that aren't necessary for you to do? They might be important, they might be urgent, they might not be necessary for you personally to do them. And for me, it is important, urgent, and necessary for me to create the content that I'm creating, to do my videos, to do my interacting on social media with people, to coach people one-on-one. It's necessary for me personally to do that. It isn't necessary for me to do a lot of the little activities that are becoming more challenging for me. So I am perfectly happy and willing and able to give them up and let somebody else do them. If I can help you in any way, shape, or form, if you've got any questions, go ahead, ask me anything in the comments below, or direct message me, and I will answer. I'm not sure how much longer I will continue to offer that up. I'm getting, again, busy, and my time's getting more and more valuable. So I would say, if you've got a question, take advantage of the offer and ask it now. Better sooner than later, because as I get busier and busier, I'm not going to continue to make that offer that hey, ask me anything and I'll point you in the right direction, or I'll tell you what I've learned based on my experience. I can do it for a while, but pretty soon that's not going to be my ending of my videos, because I need to be a little bit more selfish with how I am spending my time and who I'm spending my time with. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean that we all have a limited number of hours in our day, and we can only do so much. And like I said, I didn't mind in my 20s and 30s and 40s, and even part way into my 50s being running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But the older I get, the more I know that I need to be a little more balanced and spend time taking care of myself, my health, getting out in nature, spending time with people I love and care about, and it can't all be about work, work, work. I noticed when I heard my 4-year-old granddaughter saying, Grandma, you work too much, you work all the time. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you should get a job where you don't have to work all the time. And I'm like, if I got a job, I couldn't be hanging out with you during the day, so that's not an option. So again, if I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Have an absolutely awesome Monday.